Hello and welcome to the Wrestle Purist podcast. I think we're on episode 37 now, around there. I'm joined today by Manny, Backup Hangman, and Rob. We're going to talk a bit of WWE news, just general news, to be honest. We're going to talk the Ric Flair last match. We're going to talk SummerSlam, and we're going to try to get in and out of it before Raw starts. So, yeah, I'll start with you, Manny. How you doing today, bro?
Doing good. I just found a random 5-star match from Dave.
Which one would that be?
Onita,
Mm-hmm.
El Hijo de Santo, Tarzan Goto versus Boris Boulder, Negro Cassis, and Tim Patterson.
Now, before you say anything, I want to guess the promotion. You give me what year did this happen?
1992.
Is this FMW?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a 2 out of 3 falls match, and it happened in FMW LA.
Well, there you go. Hanger select. Yes, sir. I'll get into that, man. You didn't introduce me, but that's fine because I don't need. I know I was gonna say I don't need an introduction. It's your boy Backup Hangman. I'm here today. I'm unopposed at the top of my throne today. No AO, so I can breathe easy with my world title in my hand. But you know, I'm happy to be here. It's been a very eventful weekend. A lot of fun stuff, honestly, going on in the wrestling industry. And it's we're in a period where like a lot of things are about to get put into gear, and I'm very interested in how it goes when it comes to just the competitive aspect of the two big major companies in the United States. So it's going to be very fun to watch, and I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to talk about it. AO was afraid to spar with me today, which is why he avoided this podcast. He was just in fear, and he needed some more training.
He's not going to like that.
AO needed some training. You know, he thought he was him after that podcast debut. He did a great job, but what happened was after the game, he realized that his legs were wobbly because, you know, it's an endurance thing. You know, like you got to do this shit, you know, you got to do this shit 52 weeks. You know what I'm saying? So while he's recovering, Rob and Manny are holding the fort down, and I'm happy to see them. Rob, how are you doing today, brother?
I'm all right. Just was at work today, and then y'all hit me up. You're all like, "Well, Chris and AO are not here. Are you available to do the podcast?" And I was like, "All right, cool, whatever."
Consummate professional Rob, man. Consummate professional Rob. Manny, I mean not Manny. Fucking Monty. Let's get into it, man. What we talking about, bro?
Yeah, so okay, we'll start off with the Sasha and Naomi news. So WrestlingNews.co, not really known for scoops and news and that sort of thing.
Being the first,
but it is a big website, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of similar to when Raj Giri reported that Sasha was released in the first place, really, because you know, Raj isn't known scoops there, but he does have a big enough platform where you have to at least consider that it's, you know, truthful. But anyway, WrestlingNews.co, they have reported that Sasha and Naomi have reached an agreement to join back into the WWE, and they could potentially even be re-debuting, if you want to call it that. They didn't officially leave, so whatever you want to call it, they could be coming back tonight or sometime in the near future. So that's obviously sent Twitter into a frenzy, and yeah, man, it hasn't been confirmed by obviously anybody in WWE yet, and it hasn't been backed up by Sean Ross Sapp or Dave Meltzer or anyone of you know, the usual wrestling news sources. So that's kind of where we're at with the Sasha and Naomi thing at the moment. But yeah, it looks like Triple H may have lured them back, but we'll see.
Triple H did it again.
Maybe. So yeah, I'll go around. We'll go around to get everyone's kind of take on it. I'll start with you, Hollywood. Yeah, kick us off then.
About a month, maybe a month and a half ago, Hollywood Hangman Adam Pearce tweeted that Sasha Banks and Naomi will be back in WWE. Quote me on this. And many people did quote me on this, and they quoted me, yelling at me, calling me an idiot, calling me a fucking mark, saying that that's just super unlikely and all this other stuff. And quite frankly, Monty, you know, someone should probably run through the tapes. Absolutely, here he goes. Absolutely. It's essay time, baby. It's essay. See, Charlie, here he goes. Listen, Monty, you can run through the fucking tapes. I said on your pod, Monty, I said, we'll know exactly, we'll have a better idea about the Sasha situation after SummerSlam. I said SummerSlam weekend was going to be a milestone. We're going to know one way or the other. And what the fuck happened? The day after SummerSlam is when you start hearing all these whispers. And even leading up to SummerSlam, we heard Triple H is working feverishly to get them back in contact. Ladies and gentlemen, when Hangman made that tweet about Sasha being back, that wasn't speculation. That wasn't me having a hunch. It wasn't me guessing. I don't say things unsubstantiated. I don't just throw things out. Hollywood Hangman Pierce is in Gorilla with Paul Levesque. You know, I talk to Paul. I sit next to him. We fly on the same plane. You know, I got the game plan. You know what I'm saying? I basically work for all these companies. You know, I'm like a double agent. And so when I tell you something, I'm like kind of giving you guys a wink, nudge. I'm trying to let y'all niggas know what's going on. You know, so if Hanger Select is giving you scoops, you know, appreciate the scoops, savor it. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate the shit. So anyway, with that, all that out of the way, of course, Stephen A. Smith, damn right, absolutely.
If you keep going the same route, Stephen A., you're gonna hurt your shoulder.
My shoulder's already. I have a partially torn labrum, but anyway. Yeah, no, I seriously do. You know, I'd like some well wishes in the chat, honestly, for Hangman Adam Pierce with my physical injury. But seriously, man, was there any real doubt? I know a lot of people were hoping that Sasha would leave. Personally, I was too, especially when Vince was still around. I didn't want her to come back because of just how they treated her and how they just don't value just the full extent of how great she is. You know what I mean? And because of WWE's just chaotic up and down booking, I just thought like she was wasting her time, honestly. But that's opinion, right? But in terms of what I believed was going to happen, I was like 80% sure she was going to be back. It was a matter of when, not if. I'm surprised it's this early, and I'm sure the Triple H getting power probably sped the whole thing up. So you know, I knew Hunter was going to forego all ego and forego all the pettiness and just do what he had to do to get her back. You know, including telling her what she needs to hear, giving her what she wants, and good on Sasha. She's a superstar, and so she deserves to be someone that's, you know, courted and valued and, you know, given everything that she wants to come back. So, you know, what's my opinion now on this? She's walking into a situation with a pretty fucking stacked Raw Women's division. You know what I mean? They have Rhea Ripley, they have Io Shirai, they have Dakota Kai, they have Bayley, they have Bianca, they have Asuka. This is a damn stacked division from a talent standpoint. Yeah. And you'd figure Triple H, especially coming off what he was doing in NXT in the last year or two, this is a guy who's really going to focus on the women's division compared to like what Bruce was doing, him and Johnny Ace with the borderline diva shit we've gotten. So you know, it's a cause for optimism, quite frankly. I think it's fair to say like this is a very optimistic thing for the WWE, and I'm looking forward to seeing what comes of this. So that's my opinion.
It does feel like it's a you know, we can kind of speculate and try to pick out little details that Triple H has, you know, brought to the table since coming back into power, we'll call it.
Yeah.
And I guess the main one, especially if this one is true, is making a statement with the women's division. You know, bringing Dakota back after she was released. Giving Io Shirai what she wanted by promoting her up to the main roster. Obviously, having Bayley debut because, you know, she was kind of just sitting there for weeks. Bringing also all three of those back at SummerSlam was obviously a big statement in itself. And, you know, if Triple H, definitely, whoever it is who's made the calls.
It was fantasy fever dream booking. You know what I mean? Like, I thought it was going to stop at Bayley, and then he was like, nah, Dakota Kai too. And then fucking Io Shirai. It was very much Tony Khan-esque, dare I say. You know,
it was definitely, like I said, it was definitely a statement.
Yeah.
Manny shaking his head. Manny shaking his head.
Hey, man, go run out the TK tapes. He's like, man, how does he do this? How's he a better booker than me?
Yeah, listen, that angle, you know, being media friendly, being the babyface on social media. You know, it's a successful playbook. I think if there's anything that WWE should emulate from AEW, it's the fact that we need to stop being a heel promotion.
Oh, yeah, definitely. That's so dead in this like.
Yeah, it's awful. It's awful. If you change the narrative and have goodwill surrounding your promotion and your booker, and set the stage up for people to kind of basically look at your product and go, hey, but I trust Triple H and I believe in Triple H the way they do with Tony Khan. That's a benefit to your product, because even when bad things happen, you'll get the benefit of the doubt. That's the benefit of being a babyface promotion. You could if bad things happen on Raw tonight, people will just say, hey, Rome wasn't built in a day. It's going to take time. I believe in Triple H. You got to undo all the Vinceness, and it's going to take some time. And you know how you get that? Goodwill, good fucking will. Triple H has goodwill built from NXT. And so it's important to not be a heel promotion, and I think that's going to be his biggest asset in the coming weeks when it comes to just rehabilitating this awful product.
Yeah. Rob, have you got any hot takes on the whole Sasha and Naomi potentially coming back situation?
I mean, I am an AEW fan. I'm a fan of both, really. I just enjoy wrestling. It's just not that big a deal to me. I know that's like weird. It's just like, well, everybody wanted to go to AEW. Everybody wanted her, like Sasha, to go to Japan. It's just like, at the end of the day, at some point, you knew they were coming back, and it was going to take Vince being out of power to come back because of what him and Ace and them did to her and Naomi. So I'm not surprised. I knew at some point we had to be real with ourselves and stop being in denial and realize it was coming. So.
Flairs.
It is a kind of a perfect storm of events, like they were done, and then a lot of the people that led to their frustration are just not there, like Johnny Ace is not there. Vince McMahon, who, I mean, for all as far as I knew, Vince McMahon and Sasha had a positive relationship, but I'm sure Sasha is even aware that, look, the guy, he is what he is when it comes to just creatively, and she probably just had not much interest anymore in just working for him and his vision and how he presents her and books her, so. Everybody's watching these shows, and we'll get into it with SummerSlam, but the wrestling world was obviously, they had their eyes on the show, if nothing else, but just to see, like, this is the industry that they're in, and it's like, does this place, are they going to indicate that there's a spot for me? You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure there's a lot of former Triple H guys, former NXT guys, even people just that are signed to contracts. They're probably keeping an eye on, like, okay, what does this new regime mean for a talent that does what I do? Because WWE, for the last few years, the reality was very clear. If you're an independent style talent, AEW is your spot. If you are a sports entertainer, even though it's a cliche, but an athlete, WWE is your spot. And so it's almost like if you're, let's say, a Blake Christian type of person, there's no point in even attempting to go to WWE. You know what I mean? But now, in this new reality, the game has changed, especially for a women's wrestler. Triple H, that was a big statement of intent, debuting Dakota Kai on the main roster with Io Shirai and Bayley, and turning Becky babyface. That's Triple H basically saying, hey, I'm going to give a shit about women's wrestling, and I'm going to really try to make this shit really good. So if that's what you're all about, then come over to my company.
No, but you know what's fucked up, though? Yeah, all those women's wrestlers come out, and all of them came out during the Raw segment, but none of them came out during the SmackDown segment.
I don't know what they're gonna do with SmackDown.
We need to. Oh no! Even Manny, you as someone who doesn't really keep much up to date with WWE, it's like, even on paper, bro, you look at the Raw women's division and the SmackDown women's division, and it is literally like. Our friend Joe literally tweeted about it earlier. Like, there is always kind of a discrepancy between the two rosters when they do the brand, since they've done the brand split, and whenever they have done it, there is always one show that is quite considerably better. But when you look at the women's divisions between SmackDown and Raw, I mean, it is genuinely like hilarious. Like,
they have no stars on SmackDown, like, unless I'm missing or forgetting somebody. Like,
and leave from Ronda, and Ronda's been suspended.
Ronda's suspended. She's ice cold. She's had an awful run.
She's not ice cold, bro. Honestly, she's on Twitter. She is on Twitter, bro. But in the stadiums and stuff, she's over. So it's just
I guess to me, it's just like
she's on Twitter getting cooked by Natalya every week.
I guess what I mean by ice cold. Maybe sure. I'll give you that. They're probably still cheering her, but I guess my point is, she is not having the run she had her first time.
Yeah, no,
I think everyone can agree on that. And
yeah,
so
that's
it's
fair,
like
100%.
a much worse Ronda Rousey, who is kayfabe suspended. And then what do you have? Liv Morgan, Natalia, Shotzi, Aaliyah, Xia Li.
This is again
This
nasty.
is putrid. Like, it's fucking moribund. This is like just that's unwatchable, And then you turn around on Raw and they have Bayley, Dakota Kai, Io Shirai, Bianca, Rhea Ripley, Becky Lynch, presumably Sasha Banks and Naomi, and that's not even naming some of the other.
Yeah,
And those are just the top names. Everybody else, you could have them function as pin eaters, so to speak. But like, let's say Doudrop gets reverted back to being Piper Niven and gets made into a viable contender.
You know what it's like? It's like the Raw has like this I'm trying to think of like an NBA star-studded roster where it's like all across the board, and then SmackDown has that one roster that went 9-73. Like it's
literally
actually nasty.
No, yeah.
Disgusting.
Raw's women's division is a dynastic level NBA basketball team.
That's nasty.
It's Hangman is the Shotzi of the Russell Pierce main roster. That's just not true. That's just not true. I'm Sasha. I'm Sasha. If I walked out, bad things would happen to Russell Pierce.
Someone asked a question earlier, so if I'm cutting anyone off,
feel free to ask your questions. You know what?
Mad King, do you think they will let Sasha shoot on Vince and Johnny Ace on live TV? Oh,
yeah, man. I mean, yes. Like they
not overtly and in an extended promo, but subtly, yes.
Yes, like the first thing they let Roman do last week was be like, "Hey, nigga, your daddy not here no more, bro. Like, you got to scrape from the bottom, little bro. I'm gonna tell you."
Yeah, I mean, guys, on commentary for SummerSlam, we had the moment where where Corey Graves said, like, I liked it better when you weren't allowed to have an opinion, and Michael Cole said, well, that's changed and a lot's changed, So to me, it's very clear that they're fine with just kind of acknowledging what the reality is, which is that Vince is gone. And that's a good thing for a lot of people, So, like Rob said, Paul Heyman last week when the microphone wasn't working, Paul Heyman said, he looked at the mic guy and said, "You want to be the next to go?"
Yeah, he said, and then he goes, "I want your name. You'll be the next one to go." I was like, "Wow."
Yeah, so I'm sure Sasha Banks will probably vaguely allude to it and just say, "Hey, listen, when you're just as good as me, you get sick of just not being treated like that, and just something very just subtle like that,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
All I'm getting from all these Sasha takes is she was afraid of the grind.
She's afraid of the grind.
Oh, man.
She didn't want to wrestle in Japan and do the tours, and then she didn't want to wrestle on SmackDown.
Manny's he's doing AO proud right now, because we needed a stand-in agenda pusher, and I was wondering, I was seeing Manny's thinking, I could see his brain moving, right? And I was wondering, like, what's going to be the script he goes with and what's going to be the narrative? Because AO would be quick with his shit. You know what I'm saying? He would turn around and be like, "Oh, no, my nigga, I just think Sasha she's just a coward." Like,
I actually had as soon as you started talking, I'm not like AO where he cuts in. I was waiting for my time to talk.
You're waiting for the bomb, right? You're just waiting to drop the bomb.
Yeah, I was just hoping I didn't forget it.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Hey, listen, Sasha, she ran from the grind. Like, I don't know what to tell y'all.
I think this is a good point from our guy Jamie.
Yeah.
If Gargano returns, SmackDown could get Candice and Tegan Knox will come back too.
Hey, Jamie.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Look, I'm gonna be honest with you. That's cool. Tegan Knox and Candice LeRae does not equal Bayley, Dakota.
Yeah, no, of course not. But it's good for it's good for the division, and it's stars that you can also like push.
Yeah,
people you can legitimately do something with.
It's star power. It's not the same, but
I gotta be honest. When it comes to just this Triple H business, I'm actually looking at the live chat now for the first time, like ever. But yeah, no, like ever, literally ever. But I was gonna say, when it comes to this Triple H business, what I can say that's positive for WWE, more than like anything else, is just that before you watch the shows and you know that just a lot of what you're watching is inconsequential, will not matter in a few weeks, and that only a few people in general matter, and that no one's gonna have direction, right? And so it's like, why even care, be invested? But now You can actually have cause for optimism for a number of people, even people who aren't on the main roster right now. Like, for example, Nathan Frazier, the former Ben Carter, he's a sensational worker, right? And I would enjoy watching him on 2.0, but I enjoyed him in a vacuum. Like, I enjoyed him with the reality of knowing that Vince McMahon's not going to get him, and he'll probably get fired within months on the main roster, or changed into like some really stupid, silly gimmick. And now, guys like him, guys like Braun Breaker, you can at least be excited for them because you know that they're going to get a push when they get called up, and that's a good thing, you know. So I think that's the biggest cause for optimism.
Yeah, it's just, and I think this might be like right before we move on to the next thing, because we are trying to get everything in before Raw. But it's just like Triple H coming in, like you could tell, like SummerSlam, which we'll get into, may have like fallen off in the middle, kind of, but like you could tell it was very much kind of like a statement thing. Which I know they said today is supposed to be a statement show, but today, like the other night, towards the beginning, like the first 45 minutes or whatever, was kind of like, all right, we're here. This is what's going on, and get ready for Clash at the Castle because that's going to be my show.
Basically. Yeah. That's a good point by Rob. SummerSlam was a Triple H produced show, but it was a card he inherited.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'm very interested. I said this. I tweeted this Sunday. You know, the Clash show is going to be his first show where he gets to put the card together. And one of the things that I was personally looking for is if we're going to make an effort to rebuild the mid card. And, you know, like celebrity matches can be fun at big four shows, but I think for a lot of these majors, like for a lot of these shows going forward, if we replace a lot of those things with just matches that matter for mid card talents and, you know, making the US title matter and the IC title, and we're already seeing those steps taken because tonight there's going to be 2 triple threat matches in a mini tournament to decide the number one contender for the United States Championship, you know, and one of them looks to be a very good match. Actually, it's Ciampa, Chad Gable, and Dolph Ziggler. So,
wait, that's a triple threat, right?
Yes, they're doing Tommaso Ciampa versus Dolph Ziggler versus Chad Gable, and they're doing Mustafa Ali versus AJ Styles versus The Miz. The winner of these,
oh my! Why do they have to put the fuck?
AJ Styles and The Miz.
Yeah. The winners of these 2 matches will face each other, and the winner of that match will face Bobby Lashley for the United States Championship.
I think it will be Mustafa and Ciampa.
Really, I think to me AJ Ciampa is like obvious.
I think AJ and Miz are gonna kind of like, you know,
fuck with each other.
Yeah, like happen the same night.
What do you say, man?
Is it happening on the same night?
The 3 ways are happening tonight. I don't know if the final match is happening tonight. It might
be happening like next week. But I think the Miz, everybody's like Miz, AJ, Miz, AJ, and Ali. I think that match should literally be like that one triple threat on Raw with like Finn and Seth and Miz, where it's just like Finn and Seth are the workers. They're gonna do all their spots, get all their shit in, and Miz is gonna come in and drop his shit in every now and then. I think that's what tonight's match should be like.
Yeah, just pop in for a roll up.
Yeah, like he should not get let Ali and fucking AJ cook.
Did you guys see what Sean said about Tommaso Ciampa?
Yes.
No, I did not see that.
Sean Ross published a report about Tommaso Ciampa, and just the bottom line and the gist of it is just that an effort will be made to enhance his presentation. The Triple H regime is high on Ciampa, which is obvious. I mean, Ciampa was Triple H's guy in NXT. The guy was headlining takeovers all the time. And the reports are that they like Ciampa's attitude. Ciampa had a great attitude backstage, even when Vince was around, about what he was doing with his role. Which I mean, you know, that shows his professionalism, because when he got called up, you know, he wasn't doing a lot of significant stuff. Like, he was kind of a bit player, a background guy, and then he started kind of helping the Miz out. And so, if he kind of was really cool about that backstage and didn't like complain, you know, that's good for him.
Yeah.
But yeah, the general thing is they're going to look to really kind of establish him and push him and showcase his in-ring ability. And I mean, look, tonight he's in a 3-way with 2 other very good wrestlers in Gable and Ziggler. So that's probably going to be very good, and he's probably going to win the match. So I think if guys like him and Dakota Kai and Io Shirai already are going to be positioned really strong on this show, it's very clear that Triple H is going to be very favorable to his children. You know what I mean? His NXT people.
It's funny.
Yeah.
It's funny because it's like Like you look at what Ciampa was doing like for you, like last night on we were Discord, we were watching like Takeover New Orleans, and we watched the main event and everything. We watched what he was doing, and it's
he was
just
facing
like
Andrade, right?
No, he was facing Gargano. That was their first Takeover match.
Okay,
and it was just like you were watching that, and it's like watching now. You can tell Triple H is kind of like, all right, you have a good attitude about what you want to do, but you are not dick eating the Miz anymore, bro. Like,
exactly.
This is not happening.
I think on a personal level, because we've been saying this for years. If you're Triple H, imagine if you put in all these work to help these guys out, and then like independent guys that you found, and you're pushing on takeovers, right? Imagine you do that with all these guys. They get called up, and all of them are just shitted on. Like you're probably like, bro, this is like a waste of my fucking time.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So of course he's gonna, once he has the book on the main roster, he's like, bro, all those people that I put work into, I'm gonna make sure they stay like relevant. You know what I mean?
Pete Dunne's an interesting one because of like you see, like we mentioned Ciampa, like they did even though he was dick eating the Miz and he was kind of just like
he wasn't fundamentally changed yet.
He wasn't like completely buried like a carrying cross.
You
know what I mean? He wasn't kicked the shit out of completely. So there is definitely something to resurrect there. Whereas like Butch,
you have to. What are you gonna do? Yeah, right. I think your best bet is to just kind of have him kind of basically say like, no more bullshitting with me. Like Butch is the nickname Sheamus gave me, but my name is Pete Dunne. You guys know my name is Pete Dunne. And kind of I guess do a hybrid of Butch and Pete Dunne where like he's still in the Sheamus stable, but he gets to wrestle more seriously and he gets to use his real name.
Basically, a name. A name before we move on, like that I've really, really been like thinking about that Triple H really loved from NXT is like nobody's been talking about the whereabouts of Bobby Roode at all. We have not seen Bobby Roode in like 2 months.
He just disappeared.
Yeah, like like you're right. Like they did this angle. I forgot what it was. It was like him and Ziggler fucking with Miz, I think it was, or something like that. Was him? No, I think it was like either Miz or Theory. They were fucking with one of them, and he just disappeared. He's not been on TV since.
One thing I want to say is, I think when you're like not pushed heavily, being off TV is even better than just being on TV getting shitted on, because it sets up a situation where you can just kind of like almost re-debut him on SmackDown with the Glorious theme and just kind of pretend like the last few years didn't even happen.
Yeah, because I was about to say, like, I'm not like a Bobby Roode stan. I'm not standing up for Bobby Roode, but
I think he's good. I think he's really good.
Like, he's really good. It's just like you remember from NXT, Triple H is a really big Bobby Roode guy.
Yeah, he's a big Bobby Triple H guy. Yes. They're Roode has some Triple H in him and some Ric Flair and some of that, and Triple H was a big fan of what he does. So again, just reestablishing him as Glorious Bobby Roode on SmackDown, being an upper mid card player, facing the Sheamuses of the world and the Drew McIntyres, like that's not a bad thing at all. So there's that, and then lastly, all the former NXT people that like Joan. We saw what Jonah tweeted. Where he's clearly this man is in the middle of the G1 climax. I'm pretty sure he's facing Okada tonight. You know, Bobby is someone that could easily just pretend last year hasn't happened. Yeah, literally just pretend it didn't happen.
Right. Charlie.
But Jonah is about to face Okada like in the biggest match of his life, and he's out here like looking for that WWE contract. So
they don't have to pretend that most people don't remember.
What's up, Manny?
I said they don't have to pretend. It's like that's not like most people remember Bobby Roode either.
Yeah, no one, bro. Literally to me, bro. I watch a lot of WWE programming, and after NXT, like if you ask me what his main roster run has been, like I can't tell you too much of it. It's just kind of happened. So if they pretend it didn't happen, I'm not gonna complain. Jonah looks to be getting a Fed contract. Karrion Kross is on his knees trying to get
Jonah's tweet was disgusting because he was about to get. I think he did a tag match that night. He was doing a tag match that night. And he's getting ready for this tag match. He's stretching, doing everything, and he's watching SummerSlam. He's like,
Yeah.
Like, all right.
I don't want to talk about Karrion Kross yet because I got something to say about him in that Ric Flair show, man.
All right. We'll save it for the Flair talk. But what I will say is, this man is just straight up basically tweeting like he's basically posting on social media like,
Please, bro.
That man is like, you guys want me in WWE? TikTok. It's like,
TikTok.
You can't blame the man.
no, I'm not gonna blame him. That's the biggest push. That's the most.
The push that he got off Triple H compared to what he got on the main roster and compared to what he's got since he's been released.
He's in
CYN.
He's in CYN.
Yeah. So
and CYN,
team I'd be doing the same.
You know what's funny? He's continuously twerking for CYN, but the funny part is CYN is literally supposed to be anti-WWE. It's literally supposed to be anti-establishment.
It is what it is. Quite frankly, Monty, I think Hunter should just give Braun Strowman his job back and close that promotion down.
Yeah.
It is what I just but yeah, what do you guys want to get into first? The Flair show or SummerSlam? It doesn't really
Flair. We'll do Flair because
Yeah.
we've killed money for like the past 30 minutes.
Manny, what stood out to you in the undercard of the Flair match before we get to the main event?
That stupid Karrion Kross and David Boy Smith match.
Let's talk about it, bro. What's up, man? What's up?
It was like
It was fine.
It was just so lifeless. And then they did like a Japanese heat up spot where they know so Germans.
Yeah.
So no intensity. The crowd didn't give a fuck. They were just like as soon as I forgot, I think Davey Boy Smith kicked out of like a kick out, and the crowd just like just like
yeah.
Then you're like, the match is still going.
Manny, that's what I talk about when I talk about cosplay. You know what I mean?
I was gonna say it's cosplay. I was like, bro, come on, we don't need any of this Japanese cosplay shit, man.
Bro, think about this. If I were to say this spot on paper, it sounds incredible, right? On paper, Saito suplex, fire up, trading forearms, trading lariats. That sounds incredible, right? Yeah, but the problem is, it wasn't Masa Saito. It wasn't Riki Choshu. It wasn't fucking Genichiro Tenryu. It wasn't Jumbo Tsuruta.
It wasn't Kurt Angle.
It wasn't Misawa. It wasn't Kurt Angle. It wasn't Kobashi. It was Karrion Kross with a full head of hair and Davey Boy Smith currently going through a mid-30s crisis. So,
oh my God, it wasn't even fucking. I don't even fault bro. Somebody just said it in the chat, bro. Davey was clearly there for the check, bro. He was clearly there for the check, dog. Like,
here's my thing though. All these guys were, because look, I don't know if you guys knew this or not. Look, man, the wrestling industry was watching the show. WWE had people at the show, production and other just officials. They're obviously watching, who's on the show and who maybe to look into, right? They're more open to signing other talents than like Vince was. So, if you're on there kind of like treating this like a draft combine, like, all right, let me get paid. At least put some fucking effort into it.
You guys get outshined by fucking Allen Angels, bro. Come on, dude, he was out there.
I'll tell you this just ahead of time. Jonathan Gresham wrestled like he wanted to get paid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he wrestled like he knew I just quit my job and I need a contract. You know what I mean?
Gresham wrestled like, I've got 5 minutes and I'm gonna make them 5 minutes count.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, it was
you're gonna remember me in this match, and you're gonna stop slandering me, and you're gonna realize that I'm a good wrestler.
That's not gonna happen.
And I'm a good wrestler, and damn it, Triple H, I might be 5'2", but I'm awesome.
5'4".
The fact that he was shorter. The fact that he was shorter than Seth Green in that picture is disgusting.
Listen, he can't control how he's born.
I'll blame the camera angle.
So like also
what's up, man?
Karrion Kross was on fucking Raw, and for no reason AEW, which gets like less viewers.
Yeah.
But for some reason, when he came out, he got like the loudest pop in reaction out of anybody on there. I was just like, come on, like.
Well, because Kross before he got cut was like, and this is not a shot at Killer Kross. I have nothing against the guy personally. But he was a straight up bum before he got cut, bro.
Yeah,
he was a bum. This guy came out in that weird Shrek gimp mask and his weird
Scarlet, bro. That's the most.
He had no Scarlet. He had no aura, no intensity, nothing. He was the whole
match. I was like, "Where's Scarlet doing? What is she?
No. I'm talking about on Raw. Regarding his match, to me, I think from a work standpoint, it was actually just pretty fine to me, quite frankly. But you know what the problem is, Monty? I don't know if you felt the same way. This was my first major look at Killer Kross since getting let go. And I saw a guy who didn't believe in himself. Like I saw a guy who walked out there and he lost all his aura. And it's like he just wasn't the same. Like he walked out and he didn't even believe his own hype. You know, like he didn't at least cross before when he was bald and he had the smoke and mirrors with his presentation. You know, it's like at least he thought he was a bad motherfucker, and like you know, he was presented as a killer. Like he was just a guy. You know,
bro. Fed fans. Speaking of being just a guy, Fed fans or Fed stands, when like I'm talking about hardcore Fed stands, were like so disgusting when he came up with that Gimp mask that people were basically making like lore posts like they tried to do for Malachi, talking about he said when he started wrestling he's always wanted to wear a mask like this, and so they let him wear. I was like, all right, bro. Okay.
Yeah, listen.
I also got mad too because like I almost threw my fucking hat on the floor because I was watching it before the podcast.
Yeah,
so he did like the hidden blade.
It was so bad.
And I was just like, bro.
Oh my god,
no,
Manny! I mentioned that I was watching the show on Discord yesterday, and when he did that move at the end, like I was like, I think it was AO who said it looked fucking terrible, and it did. It looked so unimpactful, and then I was like, man, Ospreay takes your head off, and I'm not saying kill Davey Boy Smith Jr. at a Ric Flair pay-per-view, but god damn, like
he used to do it in NXT. Like he had a match with Gargano last year when he used to do it in NXT.
It was never that good.
It wasn't like great. No.
It
wasn't like dope as fuck, but it was just like at least he had.
Like, it was passable.
Yeah, like it looked like he had some sort of intensity to it.
Yeah.
Now it's just like dog. He just does not. I'm not saying he doesn't care. It's just like fuck, dog.
He's lucky that Will Ospreay wasn't there. Well, man, I don't know if I was Will Ospreay and I was there. It's my move. I'd be like,
why don't you lay that shit in, brother? What are you doing?
What did you guys think of Jacob Fatu's performance? Because I
didn't see it.
I thought Jacob Fatu looked so good yesterday. He went insane.
He went nuts. His offense,
so agile for his size.
But Alexander as well. Like that was just the straight blowout of just like let's just do a bunch of cool shit. And, Matt Cardone was going to come out.
So he was Josh Alexander and not Kirk Angel last night.
He was
actually hooping.
He was. I mean, Alexander is a hooper.
Alexander's a good wrestler.
He's a good wrestler.
He's a good wrestler.
I think the disconnect with Alexander for some people is that he's presented as the top guy of Impact, and I mean he's fine in the role. But I think if you were to compare him to like the elite performers in the industry, what he lacks that they have is just. I think there's a certain intensity and aura, and presence that like the top guys in the industry have that he doesn't have. And for me, the reason it stands out, Monty, personally, is just because a lot of his presentation and what he does is similar to Kurt Angle, and yet he's nowhere near as good as Kurt Angle. And it's not even because of the moves, because like at the start of his match with Fatu, he's doing the European uppercuts and trying to get him for the ankle lock. But it's not like when Kurt does it. You know what I mean? It's just.
And the thing too is like it's kind of weird when you watch him in like this setting with all like an all-star lineup of wrestlers. Like I don't think he was as good as Bandito or like Black Taurus or even Fatu in that match, or even Konosuke or Andrade. Sure. I feel like all these guys were just so much better than him. It's just
again. I think with him, because I'm not trying to dog him either. He's a very good worker.
Oh yeah, he's really good.
It's just that it's positioning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the fact that there's levels to this. I think he's very good. I think he's a very good worker. If I was Triple H running WWE, I would have no problem having him on my roster in the upper mid-card scene, having good matches in the mid-card for mid-card belts with people like Chad Gable, but like I would never make him, my ace, you know what I mean? But that's just me. And that's fine. I think a lot of the problems with discourse today in wrestling, Monty, is that you either have to be this or you suck. And some guys are just, they're good and that's fine. They're good. That's
I don't know. It is with Impact as well. You see, with Alexander, he was red hot when he had the X Division title, and when he swapped it for the opportunity, he was red hot then. And then they done the Moose bullshit, bro.
Yeah.
So people were just like waiting for Alexander to get his moment, even though it was painfully inevitable it was going to happen, and it just wasn't the same. It just kind of took a lot of shine off his hype and title win because, a lot of the past few months. Well, a lot of the few months leading up to his title win, like I said, it was just kind of inevitable. Let's hurry up and get to it. And to your point, he's kind of you don't have like that. You don't have that special aura when he comes out. He's just kind of I think I get the angle comparisons. They're almost like painfully intentional.
He's dressed like him, and he literally.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, but his vibe is like, Kurt Angle, he was an Olympic gold medalist, and he was like a freak, like complete freak of an athlete. You know what I mean? He was like an unattainable level of, something you'd look up to. Whereas Josh Alexander is more like the everyman that can wrestle his ass off. You know what I mean? He was a construction worker up until not long ago. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, he's very like. He's just kind of like, I don't want to say just the guy, because like when we use that term in wrestling, it means that we think he's like a mid card or whatever. But I mean, as in like, he just seems like a genuine cool guy, and there's no like special appeal about him.
I just think his offense has like no urgency, like compared to Fatu. Like Fatu felt like he was just trying to take his head off throughout the match, and then like Alexander just was like just going through the motions. Even when he had the ankle lock before he got cut off, he was just like holding it there.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Again, because I haven't watched Kurt Angle matches until I haven't watched Kurt Angle matches back until a few months ago when I was doing my Mania review series. But prior to that, I'm watching Alexander and it's fine. But then when you watch Kurt Angle put someone in the ankle lock and sweat is flying off his head and he's screaming at the top of his lungs and he's pulling the straps down and he's telling you to tap out, you son of a bitch. There is levels to doing that versus just holding the guy's ankle and being, just staring at him, until he taps.
Look, hey man, there's a better example. Davey Richards was in the opening match and he was over there when he had the ankle lock. He was screaming. He was just huffing and puffing like.
David Richards is one of the great of the generation. So
yeah. I it's kind of funny. Like, I feel like even though I think Alexander is like notably a better worker, Alexander and his former tag partner Ethan Page are in a bit of the same boat to me in that there's a slight disconnect, and I think that the character and charisma standpoint, it's a bit lacking with those guys. And it's the reason why I don't, put them higher than maybe other people would. So it's just interesting. This is interesting.
But speaking of the Flair undercard, we won't go through every single match because what's the point? I guess when we've got limited time anyway. It was a good undercard though. And but I do want to point out the Lucha match because I feel like we definitely have to point that out.
I was saving that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That was, it was reminiscent of the 5-way that they done in AAA, which if you saw that was like borderline 5 stars. It was crazy. It was better especially if you're into Lucha shit. You know what I mean? It was insane. Then obviously this match last night was the same match but without Vikingo in it, and they delivered yet again. Over delivered pretty much, I think. Considering they only had 12-13 minutes, they went crazy, bro.
That crowd was only here for that main event, and they were quiet throughout the undercard, but once the luchadors started going and cooking, man, I'm telling
Bandido
you,
Bandido's
fucking beautiful when it's high. When you have high level luchadors, that shit's beautiful, good, and they got them pumping.
Dude, Manny, here's the thing about it, man. It's been proven historically that luchadors can come in cold into random foreign settings in wrestling, and people who have no idea what they're looking at, like by the end of it, love what they're watching. Oh yeah, it's been proven historically. If you go to 1994. When AAA reached LA and they brought all these like luchadors that have never wrestled in the States, and like Eddie Guerrero and fucking Art Barr and like Rey Mysterio and Psicosis, and these guys are wrestling in front of the United States crowd. There were no names, but by the end of the match, people were like, "Holy shit, this is awesome!" And in WCW, when the luchadors would wrestle, bro, Eric Bischoff would just fly out random guys from AAA and CMLL, right? Put them in multi-man tags. People have no idea who half these people's names are, and the crowd has no idea, and they're chanting USA at the start of the match. By the end of it, they're loving what they're watching, and with just guys you don't even know, and it's insane to me how this is a historically proven thing that lucha gets over, right? High level lucha gets over. It's great, it's awesome, it's tons of fun, and yet to this day, there's such a significant lack of just lucha libre representation on major North American wrestling television. It's just crazy to me. And so one of my favorite things to watch, Monty, is just see people from a different wrestling background in a foreign setting doing what they do and like blowing people's minds. So for example, in 1982, Tiger Mask and Dynamite Kid, they wrestled in Madison Square Garden in a WWF show. It's a really random historical tidbit. They just were at a WWF show and they had their New Japan match on the show. If you were to go to that MSG card in 82, nothing else remotely looks like what they were doing. This is like at all. They're doing springboards and ranas and tiger feint kicks and shit. And that New York crowd, by the end of the match, gave them a standing ovation. I love that type of shit.
Yeah.
And to me, I think that's partially why I like this match way more than the 5-way at the AAA show at Triple Mania. Because to me, it's 4 guys in front of a Tennessee crowd that had no time for them really. And they worked their asses off so much and did so much cool shit that was unlike anything else on the show, and they got over. And it's just so cool. All 4 of those guys are terrific in my opinion. Bandito, he has the physical charisma of a superstar. Like, it's not just like, to me, you know, I value Bandito just as much as everybody else does, but it's not even his wrestling, because he's as good as like the top luchadors, but it's just his presence. Like, I think he has the body language and the gesturing of a superstar to me. So kudos to all 4 of those guys. That match is terrific. I'm probably gonna rewatch it when I get a chance, and they should all be on television, quite frankly. If Tony Khan and or Paul Levesque are not jumping for Bandito, then something's wrong.
Yeah.
So you know, just my hats are off to them, and they're what made this show worth watching before the main event came on.
Yeah. If you, I mean, I haven't really like told everybody this, but if you know me, like especially with what we talked about in the group chat earlier, my number one and number 2 favorite styles of wrestling is like Puro, number 1, and like number 2 is Lucha. So I'm like watching these guys go out there in this random Nashville show, like Hangman just said. Nobody wants to see any of these other matches. Like, they're fine with the other matches, but they're really ready for Flair, obviously. But it's like, dog, the more flips they did, the more insane spots they did, the crazier Bandito went, the crazier Phoenix went, the crazier all of them, even fucking Torres, which we'll get into Torres in a second. But the crazier each and every single one of them went, the louder and louder the crowd got. Bro, and shout out to the, speaking of Torres.
Where did Rob go?
Mike cut out talking about Torres.
Rob, you got cooked. Manny, what did you think of the 4-way just overall? And you know, I'm sure it was right up your alley, right?
Yeah, it was fucking awesome. Like, if I don't know what you have to do to get Torres, I know it was weird because they had a Laredo Kid for a while, AEW. They never signed him. Then he went to Impact, and then he was just like, now he's in Impact with Torres losing all the time and being like on their pre-show, which is insane to me.
Mind you, the Impact, the last I think Impact pay-per-view they had, I think it was Laredo Kid and Torres in the pre-show. That match was awesome. That match was sensational, and it's a pre-show match, and it's like whatever. That's just crazy to me.
Damn.
Oh man, Rob, no, Rob.
I don't know who was there representing AEW. Maybe it was Tony Schiavone. I don't know, because Tony Schiavone was kind of weird that night too, because he wasn't really like in his usual AEW form, popping for everything.
No, Tony was he was being the full leader, play-by-play on commentary, which is his old role. But in AEW, he's more of a passenger that just kind of watches the show and like reacts.
Yeah.
So
hopefully he just like convinces them all to get in, like those luchadors to get in there, because they already have Ray Phoenix underneath their contract, so you don't have to worry about Ray Phoenix. But the other 3, I would try to snatch them away instantly.
Welcome back, Rob.
And then someone that we know, Hangman, kind of like, gave me more positive that we might see Bandito. So I don't know.
Yeah, look, man, I don't.
All I was saying was just like, shout out to Bandito, if y'all can hear me. Shout out to Torres for saving Bandito's life. He was like 5 seconds away from landing
paralyzed. 5 seconds.
Head. Like
5 millimeters, bro.
Yeah,
that's close.
Literally it was the nasty. It would have been nastier than the Hayabusa incident.
It would have been really bad.
Terrible. What else? Just shout out to all 4 of those guys. I think 4 of those guys in general. It was just like, man, Tony, stop playing, bro. Tony, listen, it's not even like slandering nobody, bro. The fact that you watched that ROH main event at Supercard of Honor and said, let me sign one of these guys and not both of these guys is nasty business. We need Bandito in AEW.
It makes me wonder if maybe Bandito is like what if Tony did offer him and Bandito for whatever reason didn't want to sign.
No, he said recently, bro. He said it was basically he didn't sign with like the Bucks and Omega etc. after All In because what was it? It was something. I think he wanted to stay with Ring of Honor and like be loyal to Ring of Honor sort of thing. I think it was something like that. Anyway, then then like he was like, you know, if AEW wants me, he wants to be there.
Yes.
Like if AEW wants him, no, he wants to be there. So
wow.
So I genuinely don't think if they would have offered him, he would have said no.
Okay, what's up, Manny?
No. So Heyman freaking scared me last week when he was doing that Triple H propaganda.
Oh I can look. Hanger Select can report to you that Triple H likes Bandito.
Bro, Bandito, of course he does, bro. Let's be honest.
Who doesn't?
That's like obvious.
That could be like we're back in for the indie guys sort of signing.
Yeah, but then like
we can expect. Go ahead.
And then something that I don't want to say, but like I don't know. After hearing some stuff, like I'm kind of happy now that we might actually see him. So hopefully everything works out. So
Bandito's great. So but speaking of great,
oh yeah.
Let's talk about this main event, man.
Here we go.
So Ric Flair's last match. Ric Flair teamed up with his son-in-law Andrade El Idolo, and he faced Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, in a match that I'm being honest, man. Like I still haven't like processed it properly. And I've watched it 2.5 times now.
I want to interrupt you. I did love it,
but
I want to interrupt you to give a shout out to Anna in the chat. Our beloved Anna is in the chat, and she said, "Let me open this back up." Anna said, "I'm afraid of WWE hiring Bandito and changing his name to Thief so that the fans can pronounce it." That's funny.
Yeah, Ric Flair, Andrade, Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal.
Yeah.
This was, like I said, I haven't quite processed it yet. It definitely didn't get good critical acclaim. Let's throw it out there straight away. We're not going to come on here and say that it was a fantastic technical spectacle masterpiece. It definitely was a spectacle, just not a technical one. I personally loved it for my experience and who I watched it with in the group chats and stuff like that. Like I did love it and I had a great time. And funnily enough, so did the live crowd. Just it seems like Rick was very happy with it as well. At the end of it, he feels like he got what he wanted out of it. But with that being said, this was genuinely one of the most hilarious spectacles in like, I don't even know if hilarious is the right word because it was also terrifying at points as well. Like Rick, I was genuinely like petrified for Rick.
It's supposed to be terrifying too.
Yeah, it was. I was genuinely terrified for Rick at multiple points. There was a lot of ridiculous pops for me in there. Not just the little thing. Jeff Jarrett had one of the greatest entrances of the year.
Oh man, the heat.
Karen was phenomenal in it.
Terrific valet work.
Andrade was like,
God.
He had to play his role in the sense that he couldn't just go in there and just fucking go crazy. You know, he was Ric Flair's partner and he played that role.
He had to hold it together.
The Raw plans came out today.
Yeah, the Raw plans always come out real good.
Yeah, but they so I want to say the triple threat. The winners are facing each other tonight, so it's all happening in one night.
Yeah. You know that reminds me of Monty and Rob. Do you guys remember the Raw after the 2016 draft?
Yep.
When Finn Balor, the goal of that show was to get Finn Balor over, do the 2 4-ways, get Finn Balor to pin Roman clean, and establish him as the next number 1 contender. And that show was very much a statement show that indicated the new era and all that type of stuff. Right. That's kind of what the show was feeling like on paper.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Bro, forget all this Raw.
I want to talk about Ric Flair.
Bro,
we talking about Ric Flair.
We've got 13 minutes. Yeah, we're gonna spend 2 minutes probably talking about SummerSlam because that's in the title. Yeah, I want to talk about Ric Flair, and Jeff Jarrett, Karen
Angle,
Andrade. Jay Lethal was okay. You know, he done his job in there. You know, he held it together.
This is my time.
I ain't having this raw talk coming up. What we doing, bro? What are we doing?
Go ahead,
you think we ever get these fucking? You think we ever get these moments? We don't get them. How many other times Ric Flair? How many other times Ric Flair gonna have his last match, bro? Like it's not.
I said this. I was bringing this up earlier when I was like, "He's my wrestler of the week," and everybody's no, we can't have Ric Flair.
Oh my god, that was just so bad.
It's not right. It's not right. We have Ric Flair.
Did you see the front row? Star-studded. You don't get that in wrestling no more. You don't get that in wrestling no more, bro.
Where do you see Undertaker show up at a show anywhere?
I can't lie. Taker was looking saucy as fuck ringside, just chilling with his bandana, backwards hat, sunglasses.
His whole MAGA fit on, baby. His whole MAGA fit on.
He had the whole biker outfit. I before I even get to my thoughts on the match, it killed me because when Rick was ringside by the barricade fighting with Jarrett, like you could see Taker's face in a certain angle.
Bro.
What's up?
He faked the heart attack.
Yeah, we'll get into that. Yo,
that was like, oh.
You know what? Jesus Christ, bro! This was something. This was like this guy. He faked the heart attack, guys. This man bladed, right? And I swear to God, after he took a vertical suplex, not a superplex, not a power bomb, not a hip toss, a vertical suplex at like 0.5 speed, he never got back up for the rest of the match. He literally laid on the floor and crawled from corner to corner.
Bro.
And Andrade had to drag him to do his next few spots. That man, Ric Flair, I swear to God, I'm pretty sure he died and then like revived himself during the match.
Someone said that I'm sure that at the end of the match, at the end of the match, he thought he died.
Bro, he was knocked out, right? And Andrade has the brass knuckles, and he's like, Rick, wake up.
That was so terrifying.
Rick's hands were dangling.
I was listening to Spanish commentary. Bro, they went quiet when he did that.
Bro, Andrade was literally like reviving him and put the knucks on, picked his body up, and Rick somehow was able to stay standing.
I was surprised.
Yeah,
I was surprised Rick delivered the punch. Honestly, like he was so gone, fam. He was so gone. You know, I thought Andrade was just gonna shove because Andrade was getting those knuckles on, even if Rick was cold and dead in the ring, bro. Andrade was in there.
Monty, I literally thought that he was going to hold his fist and like punch him for him, like grab his hand.
Bro, there was a part in the match where Ric Flair was just dead, bloody mess on the apron, waiting for a hot tag, bro. And when he got the hot tag, he just crawled to the other side of the ring.
Did you hear like that? I forgot the comment. Like Andrade was training with him and said, like, this is like, he's saying Ric Flair said he felt like a 22-year-old. I've never seen a 22-year-old move like that. I think how Rick was saying.
Bro, man, listen, it was, listen,
this match is so funny, bro.
Bro, that Jarrett entrance, I was like, all right, four and a quarter.
Oh,
and then Ric Flair made his entrance and then he pulled out the big gold belt. I said, all right, 4.5. This nigga started the match, started doing headlock takeovers and head scissors. I was like, all right, nigga, 5 stars.
Hold on.
Bro.
Yes, I just want to caution you. He did headlock takeovers and head scissors.
Yes, bro.
But no, listen. But he did that shit in like 0.005 speed. This was like this match.
Over, brother.
I don't know.
Over in the building.
I don't know what to rate this match. I
I'm
don't
not
even know.
rating it.
Yeah, I'm not giving it a rating. But what I will say is, Ric Flair was horrible. Like he was abysmal.
Nigga, he was going. Nigga, what are you talking about?
At the same
All
time,
jokes aside, though, I think he froze up and got a bit nervous.
Fuck those kids.
Because at the start, when he was just standing there, like he weren't even like being Ric Flair. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He genuinely looked like he was a bit frozen up. And I know it's Ric Flair, and people like, how does Ric Flair get nervous? But like, come on.
I just what I mean is like when it comes to mobility, and quite frankly, just doing anything, like he just like couldn't really. He looked like he was 115. Like, like his skin is trying to leave his body so badly.
Oh my god, it was disgusting. I was looking at his bicep. Someone
compared him to Mermaid Man on social media, and it's true. Like this dude, Ric Flair's titties were on his belly button. Like they if you like look behind his shirt, and I was looking at the chops, right? And like I was like, bro, lay this in, Rick, lay it
in. He was watching on Discord. You was getting mad. He was like, "Bro, lay the fucking chops in.
Lay the chops in, Rick. What are we doing?"
And I remember somebody goes, "Hangman, he can't move."
It was Robert Martyr. I'm watching.
Yeah, Martyr was like, yeah.
Let me recap it, Monty. I'm watching this match of Robert Martyr. Right? I said, "Lay it in," and he's like, "Dude, he can't." I was like, he can't.
What other like crazy highlights was it from that match?
No, but
oh my god, Ric Flair's daughter fighting with Karen.
With Karen. And Karen said she was gonna fucking
Megan, bro. The highlight of the match, Megan Flair going, "I'll fucking kill you!" Like, oh my god, dog.
Here's my thing, right? I'm watching this match, right? And like at the beginning, Rick can't do anything, and I'm like, this is a disaster. Right, I'm like, this is a fucking disaster.
Jeff Jarrett hits him with Karen shoe.
He can't do anything, right? And then somehow, like I don't know how this works, bro. With this motherfucker Ric Flair, he can't move. It's a disaster at the start, and it takes once he starts bleeding, like he bleeds. Jarrett is being Jarrett. There's drama. There's intensity. Andrade is just having the match of his life when it comes to holding
his wrestling. He's hooping with Lethal.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's having the match of his life and he's wrestling around his like literally in the ring in progress dying father-in-law, and like the drama of can Ric Flair revive himself as a shoot to tag Andrade like made the match compelling because I'm watching this, I'm like, bro, wake up, and he's literally like trying to shake his shit off to tag, and I'm like, this is crazy. And he literally revives himself like 2 to 3 times with the crawling and shit, and it's not selling. He's literally just half dead. He's literally he's half dead. And then I was like, is this becoming like? I sat there. I'm like, is this becoming kind of good? Like unironic.
Bro, this is what I'm saying.
The best part when Andrade hit Jarrett for the first time. Jarrett never took anything from him again. Every time before he could land a lariat, or a chop, he would bump for it before he even hit him with it.
Listen, we're running out of time, so I want to say 2 things. Two last things. Jarrett is in incredible shape. Yeah, I don't know how he looks. When I found out he was 55, my mind was blown because to me, I swear to God, he doesn't look that much different than how he looked at the end of TNA. Yeah, like he doesn't look. His body isn't like. I don't know what he's on. He's in tremendous shape. Andrade, God bless this guy. This guy held this match together, in my opinion. Jarrett was the wise one. He was a veteran. He wrestled a very smart match. Lethal was just there. Andrade to me, just with his athleticism and his passion and just what he did. I think this is like, even though this is not one of his best matches of all time ever at all, but it's one of his most memorable performances, in my opinion. Yeah. And a very important wrestling effort for him, and I'm actually really just happy for him and proud of him. Him just literally like bringing his father-in-law back to life to do the finish, and then Ric Flair like not even being able to sit up to do the figure 4 and pinning himself is so funny. I don't know what I'd rate this. I don't even know how I feel about it. All I know is that it was an experience that I watched and I won't forget. So all I want to say about the event as a whole is that I would actually like to see more Conrad Thompson, Jim Crockett Promotions branded wrestling shows with good wrestlers on it.
That's not happening.
It should though. It made pause. Not with Rick.
No, bro.
No,
the Conrad Crockett thing, bro.
Do it.
Not that I wouldn't like it. I enjoyed the show, but trust me, bro, that's not happening.
But Monty, here's the thing. Here's my thing.
You've got 3 minutes.
Okay. Here's my thing. We don't get PWG streaming. You know what I mean?
So
it's like, and GCW is not good. So it's like, where else am I gonna get these shows where I can just watch it and it's like just wrestlers from around the United States, just having matches. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Before we move on, we can't forget how good the punches were in this match.
Jeff Jarrett's punches were
Jeff Jarrett's he's one of the best.
Top 5 punches ever.
Okay.
One of the best in the business.
Rapid fire, one sentence. Monty, SummerSlam, thumbs up, thumbs down. What do you think of the show?
Thumbs up, I guess, but not a dramatic thumbs up. The main event was incredible. Brock and Roman actually delivered a good match for once, which is good stuff.
Yeah.
Usos, Street Profits, unfortunately didn't deliver to the expectation level or even to the level of their previous match at Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
Well, so obviously the Bailey Io Dakota thing was incredible. Bianca and Becky had a great match. Logan Paul looked spectacular.
Oh my god.
What else is there? Liv versus Ronda had a really stupid fucking finish, but at least Ronda's heel now, I guess. But like I said, the finish was ridiculously stupid, and Liv
this is a very long stance, Monty.
But yeah, go.
Rob, SummerSlam, thumbs up, thumbs down. Thoughts on the show?
SummerSlam, thumbs up. It was a good show. Some bad parts, but it was a good show.
I thought, Manny, did you watch the show?
A tractor.
You saw the tractor.
Oh,
yeah. Listen, Brock Lesnar's awesome. That tractor spot is awesome. That main event was a lot of fun. It was absolutely absurd. But absurdity is what I want out of WWE, quite frankly. Big spectacle. I like the show. I thought the aesthetic was really cool. I love outdoor wrestling stadium shows. I like the energy of those shows. Hour 1 to me was like flat out great in my opinion because the women's match was good.
Mm-hmm.
The angle after the match was terrific. And Logan Paul like blew my mind with his performance. That might have been one of the best Miz matches I've ever seen. Outside of that, I thought the undercard was just like kind of fine. It was just that's the best word I could use is fine. The Usos match under delivered. The live stuff sucked, and the main event was fun. Overall, I would say my feelings on the show is positive. I'd give it a thumbs up as well. And I'm looking forward to Monday Night Raw, actually, which is starting right now.
So like, subscribe, and peace.
Exactly.